Does a new petrol discovery hint at biblical prophecy? First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers out there laboring in his work, and also to the believers, to USA Shalom. Yeah, so we're in the time, of course, in the time of prophecy where the Most High is revealing who the so-called white man truly is. And, the Lord has not only the knowledge according to the scriptures, but he also has the tangible evidence to back it up. As you can see on the screen right here, you have an ancient architecture or monument of the so-called white man's dwellings, which is called Mount Petra, all right, Mount Seir. And the Lord literally had them to make these monuments in such a fashion to where they look exactly like the ones that you see today, all right, in America. And also in recent history, during the time of the Romans and the Greeks, they built the same pillars, the same, the same style, architecture. And that's just the Spirit of the Lord revealing this man in this time. All right. So when you go to the book of Jeremiah 49:10, it says, "But I have made Esau bare; I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." Right now, the so-called white man is in dire straits. He has been revealed, and there's no way that he can cover it up. Ever since this man came into power, he has did everything in his power to deceive the nations and to cover up his identity. All right. So one thing that he forgot to do or should have did was destroy all the Bibles. But the Lord controls him, so he couldn't do that. That would have been the wisest thing for him to do, to just destroy the Bible and leave no evidence. So as the Lord has woken his prophets up to do in these last days, which is to completely prophesy the downfall of the so-called white man's rulership, right? And pretty much the capital of his kingdom is America, and America is mentioned as an end days prophecy concerning the destruction of the so-called white man. All right, and we have been revealed that mystery in these last days. Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And say unto it, Thus said the Lord Yahweh by Shemel. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. So when the Most High is saying that he will stretch out his hand against thee, it's talking about his right hand, which is his beloved son, Yahushua, the one whom they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, that they X'd out in the land of America and made him a so-called white person. Okay, verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And we should know that the children of Israel, or the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, were the Israelites, the chosen seed of the Most High. Verse 6, Therefore as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, by Shemel Shah, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. All right. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Okay, and pretty much this is what the Lord has commanded us to do. The prophets in the last days to prophesy against Mount Seir, which is modern day Mount Seir, right? In which that would be America. So let's read some of this. It says, You've most likely seen this famous ancient site in movies like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade and The Mummy Returns. Biblical prophets like Daniel and Isaiah, even Yahushua, right, true name is Yahushua, spoke about the monumental structure at Petra in connection to end time prophecy. All right, that's key. All right, end time prophecy. And so what does a structure like this have to do with end time prophecy? You know, ask yourself. So let's go to an end time prophecy. 2nd Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it to follow. So we understand that Esau would be ruling this world. He is the end of this world, and the seed of Jacob, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are the beginning of it to follow. They have the next rulership. All right, so when you go to Genesis 36:8, it says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Okay, Esau dwelt in Mount Seir, and Esau is Edom. This is Mount Seir. All right. So from there, let's do a quick Google search of Mount Seir in Edom. Okay. So let's just click on one of these pics. You know, and hey, can't get around it, you know. If this ain't the so-called white man, who is it? You know? Edom, Esau's originary kingdom. Look at that. In the rocks. Look at these holes in the rocks. Come on, man. You got the same triangle shape at the top of these pillars. You know, it's the same thing today. And so, let's take a look at modern day, you know, technology of the Roman Empire. We'll start at the Romans. Okay, they did the same thing, the same structure, same pillars, same triangle shape top. You know, we can scroll through, see the same monuments today. This is America, same pillars, you know. It's doing the Romans, you know. I mean, so you can't get around this, man. You know, even the Colosseums. They had Colosseums back in Rome. They got Colosseums today in America. All right, so let's go back to this. You see these holes in the rocks. All right, keep it in mind. Now, when you go to the book of Job, the Bible really exposes this man's dwellings and everything about the so-called white man. Job 30:5. All right, it says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Verse 7, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Now look where they at. They sitting on top of the world. Why? It's because the Lord put them there for a reason, to destroy them. The Lord is doing that to show his power. So they were dwelling in the rocks, man. These were the original cavemen, as you can see. Right? There's no getting around that. There's no getting around that, man. Come on. Alright. Mount Petra. Of course, this is modern day America. I think it's in New York. But you get the drift. So what they did when they came back into power during the Renaissance around 1453, they decided to make an image of the ancient Roman Empire. And the Bible goes into that as well. So when you go to Revelations 13:11, it says, and I beheld another beast. And this is the Revelator, John the Revelator, you know, who received a vision, you know, from the angel concerning the end times. He says, and I beheld another beast. And this beast is going to the fourth beast, which is the four kingdoms, all right, which are called beasts. The first beast was the Babylonian Empire. The second beast was a Medo-Persian empire. The third beast was the Greek empire, and the fourth beast was the Roman empire. All right, and so they made an image of the Roman empire, the fourth beast. So, and it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. These 2 horns represents 2 powers, pretty much, all right, which would be the Democratic and Republican. Now, when you go to the ancient Roman Empire, they had 2 pretty much political systems called the plebeians and the patricians. And it's the same thing today with America. They got the Republicans and they got the Democrats. It's the same thing, all right? 2 horns like a lamb. They come at you like they want to formulate some kind of peace and solve an issue. But really, as you continue on reading, it says, and he spake as a dragon. Now, this is going to the ones that are controlling these politicians, these powers, all right, eventually enforcing draconian laws, all right, which are pretty harsh laws, okay? Verse 12, and he exercises all the power, talking about the so-called white man, and he exercises all the power of the first beast, which was the Roman Empire, right, before him, and he causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, the Roman Empire structure. Okay, that's what you got now. That the whole world worshiping the Roman Empire structure, which is America today. These nations have taken on the custom of America. It goes on to say whose deadly wound was healed. Okay, so they're worshiping that first beast, which is the Roman Empire, whose deadly wound was healed because Roman fell out of power, right? Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from the heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's talking about the missiles, with the atomic bomb that dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Alright? And this is that miracle that he did in the sight of the nations. It put all these nations in fear. Okay? Because they're the first one that dropped an atomic bomb, pretty much, on a nation like that. You know? And it shocked the world. So it says, verse 13, and he do a great wonder, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Yeah. So the Roman Empire fell, all right. And what happened was the so-called white man, the Edomites, were put into subjection. The Lord tore down their kingdom, and he made them servants under the Israelites, all right, who were called Moors at the time, over there in Europe for 1,000-year period, all the way up to 1453 when they, reestablished dominance again. Okay, so that's when they came back and they decided to make an image of the beast, whose wound was pretty much healed, who had a wound by the sword and did live. All right, so from now, let's go to the book of Obadiah. The book of Obadiah 1 and 3. It says the pride. Well, of course, this is a vision. All right, Obadiah about the future. Prophet Obadiah, he says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. All right, concerning Edom, the so-called white man. Verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord Yahweh. If these came to thee as robbers by night, hard thou cut off, would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Alright, so pretty much Esau has stolen everything that he has, his heritage, his land, his riches, everything has been done. Pretty much by the hands of deceit and lies, all right, and robbery. All right, so verse 6, this is why the Lord said, harder things are Esau searched out, how his hidden things sought up. This man tried to hide his identity, in the midst of robbing the whole world, pretty much, all right, and mainly the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And from now, when you go to the book of Malachi, first chapter, it says, the burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh by Shemel Shai to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Because we catch so much hell, right? Talking about the Israelites. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord, yet I love Jacob. The Lord loved Jacob, not Esau. Remember, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it to follow. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains, talking about his government, his kingdom, and his heritage waits for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished as at the fall of Rome, but we will return. And that's during the Renaissance, 1453. It says, and build their desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, as they built America, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So the Lord is kindled, anger is kindled towards the whole nation. And in the kingdom of Jacob, they're going to call them the border of wickedness, because they're going to be known as the ones that push wickedness and cause the whole world to walk in confusion. All right. Verse 5, and your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel. All right. Psalm 73. So the Lord gave these people rulership over the earth. And what do? They went out and ruled in wickedness. Why? Because they are jealous of the seed of Jacob. Because they lost their birthright. So they went to deceive the nations into believing that they were the chosen people. That's why you get these fake Jews over there in Israel right now who are imposters that are posing as if they are the chosen people, when really they stole everything they got. They are the nation of Esau. They are the head nation of the nation of Esau. All right. So let's see, Psalm 73 and 3. It says, for I was envious at the foolish. And we know the foolish are Edomites. Read the book of Job, they were cheering the fools. They were base men, violating the earth. It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And we know the wicked are Esau. We just read that in Malachi, the 1st chapter. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men. Is that not the so-called white man? Neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. And that goes all the way back to Cain, man. Because Cain had a seal on him that no one could touch him. So he went out killing, the chosen seed. You see? So he was built up in pride too. He says their eyes stand out with fatness. That's according to the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. When it says that Esau's dwelling was going to be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. So it says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens. They go into their laws, which are completely against the laws of the Most High. They promote homosexuality. The LGBTQ community. All right, they push pork on the whole world, which is completely a complete abomination, and also other abominations. Esau just pushes whatever, man. Anything that's against the Most High, that's what he pushes. That's how proud this man is. It says, in that tongue walketh through the earth, their laws and legislations. Therefore his people return hither. Reincarnation. The Lord's going to bring those people back today to receive their judgment. So they're here today. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how doth the Most High know? And they say, knowledge in the Most High. This is what they're saying. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily have I cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I would speak thus, behold, I shall offend against the generation of thy children. Okay, so pretty much, this is talking about the so-called white man, right? No doubt, right? Even all the prophets got on Esau, pretty much, man, because they prophesied the end of his rulership. So, let's go to the book of Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. It says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, days whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. Yet the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the white Lord said, Hey, I have loved you, but ye say, where hence thou love us? Because we have drunken of that cup of judgment from the Most High for disobeying the commandment." It says, "They whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. And art thou he, Esau, that shall not altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai, that Basra, which is the capital of Esau, shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes." All right, and this is talking about America, the capital of Edom. Let's click on Basra real quick. All right, Basra, which is a sheepfold or fortress, is a town in Edom. All right, and this is talking about the capital of Edom today, which is America. All right, so 49-14, Jeremiah 49-14, "I have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle." That's talking about all these other nations that the Lord is going to put the spirit on to come against America. And in World War III, they're going to shoot their nuclear missiles at America, and it's going to be the judgment of America. They're going to go out the same way they came in. It's about war, and that's the balance of the Most High. You know, whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. So America has sown nothing but war and wickedness. I think America has been in war 222 times out of 239 years. All right. Let me see. Yeah, so America is that hammer of the whole earth, which starts these wars and pretty much bosses all these countries around, and they're gonna pay for that. Isaiah 34:5, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." That sword is a missile. "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse." Who was Idumea? That's a Greek word for Edom, as you can see. All right, Idumea, Edom, red, Edom, Edomite, Idumea, descendants of Esau. Esau is the end of the world, right? Okay. Alright, so let me see. Let's get down to verse 8. It says, "For it is a day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion." Zion are the Israelites, the ones that were delivered here in captivity. Talking about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Isaiah 13:5. All right, this is that sword. It's going to be bathed in heaven. It's going to come down upon Idumea, which is Edom. It says, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land." It's talking about America. "Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. He shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." All right. And the precept for that is 2 Ezra 16:13. It says, "For strong is his right hand." All right. "That bent of the bow." It's talking about these silos. It says his arrows that he shooteth for sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. All right. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So these intercontinental ballistic missiles are going to be shot into the ends of the world, and they're going to be going from the east to the west. And who is in the west, man? Who's in the west? Oh man. Alright, and this is pretty much what's going to happen. Revelation 16:18, "And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great, in that great city, which is America, was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon, all right, Babylon's in the Hebrew means Babal, which goes back to confusion. America is nothing but a big place of confusion, all right, full of idols, idol worship. People do as they wilt, okay? There's no order here. It's a big place of confusion, as you can see now. And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her, all right, later America, the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. All right, this place is gonna be destroyed. All right, so this place is gonna be completely destroyed. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And man blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Yeah, it's gonna get terrible out here, man. It's gonna get real terrible. You know. So 2nd Esdras 11:45, and when it happens, you know, once America gets destroyed, it says, and there appeared, and therefore appear no more an eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. So the Lord is getting ready to break down this current system which was set up by the so-called white man, beginning with America first. It's going to be completely destroyed because of its wickedness for polluting the whole earth. All right, as it says in Isaiah 24, I believe, you know, the curse has pretty much devoured the earth. And that curse is talking about the so-called white man Esau. That's why the Lord said, my sword should be bathed in heaven. It should come down upon Idumea, the people of my curse, to judgment. Alright? So the curse has devoured the earth with the philosophies of America. And America is going to be the greatest judgment ever. Ever. And after that, the Lord's going to restart the earth again in righteousness. So that's the time that we're heading into. Give one more precept, and I'm going to close it out. Job 27:13, this is the portion of the wicked man with the Most High, and the heritage of oppressors which they shall receive of the Almighty, if his children be multiplied. All right, it is for the sword. Remember the Lord said, hey, he pretty much going to make his people return hither again, all right, to receive their judgment as reincarnation. Okay, if his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, for the missiles, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widow shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. Alright, so the Lord's about to take this man completely out of power, and he's going to exterminate him after 1,000 years of captivity. He's not going to be any use for the so-called white man because he's a curse. Alright, so what do you do when you have a council? You cut it out. Okay, you got to cut it out and get rid of it. So the Lord's going to burn that council, and it's going to be righteousness established on the earth forever. You're not going to have to worry about, you know, the so-called white man deceiving, lying, and manipulating the people and deceiving the whole world again, all right? It's going to be done away with. And you're going to have the righteous rulers running this earth, okay, as it should be by the laws of the Most High, all right? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got, man, all right? So, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying. Until next time, I say, shalom.